Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara. I talk all things makeup no-buy, makeup consumerism, decluttering your collection, really curating it to be the makeup collection of your dreams. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know how my hair looks because it is definitely too long and too heavy for this kind of hairstyle. I had a dream last night where I got a haircut. It was glorious. I actually haven't gotten a haircut in over a year and a half now. The last time I got one was October 2019. I had one set up for March 2020, and of course that didn't pan out. And honestly, when places were opening again, I was just kind of like, haven't had my hair long for quite a few years. Let's just see how it works. And I enjoy it just for the, not novelty of it, but like it's kind of something different. Like being able to curl long hair, I really do like the look, but it's just, I think I prefer myself with short hair now. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I think this is kind of a theme. I'm going to be talking about the downsides of makeup no-buy, and I do not want to deter anyone from going on a makeup no-buy, though it may seem that way from my last couple of videos. My previous one was how you know it's time to stop your makeup no-buy, and now I'm talking about the downsides of makeup no-buy. But truly, I am so grateful that I went on a makeup no-buy in the first place, and I very much encourage everyone watching to go on one yourself if you have been thinking about it. I do have some videos which might be good tools to start your makeup no-buy, and if there's any other content that you feel like you need, like part 2 of why you should go on a makeup no-buy, let me know. I'm happy to make that kind of content because I am still wholeheartedly behind makeup no-buys, and I really thank it for my current healthy relationship with makeup and also the way that I sort of understand makeup marketing and consumerism in the makeup industry now. It's sort of like a peek behind the curtain, and I'm really glad that I have that for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be the kind of person who just like mindlessly buys makeup, so I'm happy about that. But of course I do want to be honest about my experiences. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it to this side so it doesn't look like I'm bald. Ugh. If you're trying to find a reason to justify not going on a makeup no-buy, then I would suggest not watching this video because I do not want to do that. I want to help people who are already on makeup no-buys, try to commiserate with them if that is helpful to hear other people's experiences. Okay, so without further ado, let's hop into it. These are the downsides as I am experiencing them to being on a makeup no-buy. The first thing I have found is a downside is the inability to compare to other people who are still regularly buying makeup. And what I mean is I have a very different makeup collection from most people because most of my makeup is old. Like a lot of the products that I have, you would not be able to find it in stores now. A lot of people probably don't even recognize it. I recently finished a blush, a hard candy blush. You can't buy hard candy in most stores anymore. I am currently working on the NYC bronzer in Sunny. This was hugely popular back in the day. You definitely can't still buy this product, and I don't think anyone else still has it in their collection because they recognize that it is too old to be using. I haven't found any issue with it, which is why I'm still continuing to use it, but all I'm saying is I have a very different makeup collection. It might not be recognizable to a lot of people. A lot of the products I have, I can't really compare because they're mostly old, and the makeup industry has really surpassed my collection. In previous videos, I've said things like I don't like lip gloss, I don't like bronzer. Bronzer, I think that's just a me thing. I just generally don't like how bronzer looks on my face. But lip gloss, I think it's because all of my lip glosses are from a while back when there wasn't really a great lip gloss formula, and now there's so many great lip gloss formulas out there. From what I hear, haven't personally tried, because the makeup industry has evolved and gotten better, and you know, science has changed. Obviously, science has improved, so there are better products out there than there used to be, and 5 years from now there's going to be better products than there are now. Just as an anecdote, duochromes, like duochrome eyeshadows, barely existed a few years ago. I don't remember really hearing that much about them. Like, they definitely existed, but they weren't super common, I don't think. And now triochromes exist. Is it trichromes, triochromes? Pretty soon we're gonna have quattrochromes? What would you call a 4 different color chrome? I don't know. What I'm saying is most of my makeup is a lot older than other people who have large makeup collections. That's just something that happens when you go on a makeup no-buy for a couple years. The makeup industry changes. it changes quickly. It changes so fast. It's constantly changing, especially because when I started my Makeup No Buy, brands like ColourPop, these companies that were just pumping out lines very, very quickly and able to come out with new releases, going from product inception to in people's collections in the span of, you know, a month, and before it would have been like a year. So things are changing very, very quickly. Number 2, the downside of being on a Makeup No Buy is, I don't know how to say this, but like the clout. Like my makeup doesn't look as good as other people's, and this is because a lot of it is older. A lot of the makeup I have, for example, the Wet n Wild blush in Mellow Wine, I really love that blush, and it still exists, but in a different packaging. Like Wet n Wild has entirely changed its packaging since I bought that blush. CoverGirl, back when I bought all of my CoverGirl stuff, they weren't cruelty free. Now they are. That is, of course, a good thing. But the CoverGirl products that I have don't have the cruelty-free symbol on them. And yeah, that's not a huge deal, but like my makeup does not look as nice in pictures. It just looks kind of old. It's clearly the old version of packaging, and I don't think that it looks as attractive in videos. I mean, I take a lot of inspiration for flat lays from Julia Adams. She has just like the best in the game, but I can't possibly compete. Not that I'm trying to compete, but just my videos, my flat lays, the makeup can't compare because first of all, it is so much older, and also I have a lot of drugstore products. They just generally don't look as nice because not as much money went into them as more high-end products. So this is something that I think about while I'm making YouTube videos. Of course, that won't apply to everyone. Not everyone needs to take pictures of their makeup, but this is how I'm feeling. Okay, number 3, your makeup doesn't necessarily reflect your style preferences or your makeup preferences. And granted, this will apply more the longer someone has been on a Makeup No Buy. So I have been on one for almost 2.5 years. Obviously, my relationship to makeup and my habits, my style, my application, even like my techniques have changed since I started going on a Makeup No Buy. If someone has only been on one for a couple of months, then they might not notice as much of a change in this period of time, but I have really noticed a change. And even, for example, Kelly Gooch, she has talked recently about how she loves pink eyeshadows, and she used to really, really, really not like pink, and this was something that just changed over the course of, you know, maybe half a year, maybe a year. So we can see how our preferences change, and if I'm not buying new makeup, then the products that I have don't reflect that. My base products, my foundations and my concealer, they're super, super heavy coverage. And now I don't like heavy coverage as much. I would prefer a lighter coverage foundation and concealer, but I don't have those because back in the day when I was buying makeup, that was my preference. And I have bought a couple of new products within the span of my no buy because I felt like I kind of had to. I bought a couple of ColourPop eyeshadow palettes in the summer, and I'm so glad I did because those palettes actually reflect what I like about eyeshadows. I like orange colors, reds and yellows, and a bit of shimmer. Not too much, mostly mattes is my preference, but I wasn't into those at all prior to my no buy. Okay, the next point also has to do with YouTube and myself as a YouTube creator, so this may not apply to everyone, but there are lots of YouTube videos that I cannot create. So hauls, as everyone knows, are super, super popular on YouTube. Trying new products, full face of e.l.f. makeup or Charlotte Tilbury makeup, those kinds of videos, those are super, super popular. Favorites videos where people talk about their favorites out of their new products and what they didn't like. I can't do any of those videos because I'm not bringing anything new into my collection. I can't do a full face of e.l.f. because that would require me to buy products so that I can cover my whole face. I can't do haul videos because I don't buy new makeup. Now, I know that I'm in a niche and I make very different videos from that. I make no-buy videos, I make videos about getting rid of products and panning products, which is the exact opposite of hauls. But because of that, I have effectively cut myself off from making those kinds of videos in the future. If I ever tried to do a makeup haul or something to that effect, it wouldn't get as many views because that's not my base content. That's not what people watch me for. Not saying that after my makeup no-buy, I will be doing tons of hauls and all that stuff, but I don't want it to not be an option for myself, so that's not great. Okay, and the fifth thing, this may not immediately make sense, but let me explain. Some products will expire while you're working through other things. What I found prior to my no-buy was that I used a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I was cycling kind of through my favorites mostly, but now what I do is I have been working on the things that I like the least or the things that are closest to being done, and I try to pan those first. And I've noticed that while I'm panning those, other items that I'm neglecting because I feel like I haven't had them that long or actually really like them have been kind of tending to expire, which is really not great. So I haven't been using my favorite products because I want to save them, you know, for when I really want to use them. Apologies because I am filming on a different day. Unfortunately, the end of that video literally disappeared. I don't know what happened to it, so I'm filming today. Tried to make my hair look the same. Oh, I should also mention that I'm going to be doing a live stream with my friend SHAWNA. She does content that is very similar to the content I do. She's on a makeup no-buy right now. She talks a lot about conscious consumerism and self-reflections. So if you're interested in that kind of content, I will link her down below, and we will be doing a live stream on Friday, June 18th. That is my birthday, so I thought it would be fun to get dressed up, have a glass of wine, and talk to you guys. And it will be at this time. It is currently undecided. So I would love it if you were able to join us for that. We're going to be talking about all things makeup. So the next point, I think this is as a result of just my no-buy in particular, and maybe this will resonate with some other people, but if you plan your no-buy correctly, hopefully you don't have to deal with this issue. For me, the issue was the way that I prioritized the products in my collection as a result of my no-buy. So I basically said, okay, I want to like use up my oldest products. I want to get them out because those were the products that got the least use out of before the no-buy. Prior to the no-buy, I pretty much used my favorites, or at least items that I really liked most days, and I neglected a ton of my makeup. But during the no-buy, I kind of flipped that 180, so I was just using products that I hadn't gotten a lot of use out of before. And so as a result of that, some of my products have expired, I think, because I haven't touched them for 2.5 years. I haven't touched them since before my no-buy. So just as an example, this is the Stila All Over Shimmer. I think I've spoken about this before. This is a beautiful product, but unfortunately I think it is expired because it smells kind of funny and it looks fine on my face. I don't notice it breaking me out or anything. It's still a beautiful product, but if I had been using it for the past 2.5 years, at least I would have gotten some use out of it before it expired. Let me give you another example that's a bit more recent. This is a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. I still have it in the packaging because I'm still like that. My partner got this for me for my birthday last year, and I've probably worn it 4 times since then because I'm trying to use up the other items in my collection. But in a normal year, I think I would have reached for this way, way more because it would have become one of my favorite lipsticks, and this would have been one of the only products that I reached for. But I haven't been doing that because I've been prioritizing items that I didn't get love before my no-buy and that I've had for a lot longer. I'm, you know, trying to internalize this and tell myself I still need to use my favorite products because otherwise they're just gonna expire as well. They're gonna have the same fate as my products that I don't like. So take that as a note for when you go on a makeup no-buy and don't repeat my mistake. Number 7, the final thing. This is particularly targeted to people who see their makeup as a collection. If that's you, I'm talking to you. The downside is that you will finish your makeup. Now, I know most people will see this as a good thing, I think, but some people will see it as a negative thing if they view their collections as something to grow larger, not necessarily something to curate. If you see your makeup collection as something to have on display, you really like the aspect of displaying your collection, you might see finishing makeup as a bad thing. Maybe you don't want to finish your makeup. Maybe you want to always be able to reach for certain items. And I speak from experience because this is how I used to be. When I had favorite makeup products, I actually wouldn't reach for them when I got sort of close to the end because I didn't want to finish them off. Now, never mind that, you know, I could go and repurchase it if I wanted to. I just wouldn't finish that item. And going on makeup no-buy will make you finish your makeup because you're not bringing anything new in. I have a whole empties playlist that I will link down below because every month I get through quite a few makeup items. Like, just for example, This foundation, this is from Becca. This used to be my holy grail foundation, and I would only use it on like special occasions when I really, really wanted to look good. And as I got closer to finishing it, I would just use it less and less because I never wanted to finish it. So if you like a product so much that you just never reach for it, your Makeup No Buy will empower you to reach for it, get that item out of your collection, because it is going to expire at some point or another, so you might as well actually get use out of it rather than letting it sit there on a shelf. I do see finishing your makeup as a good thing, but I wanted to frame why some people may see it as a bad thing. Okay, and that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's hop into what book I've been reading lately. A funny thing has happened recently. I've actually run out of books to read. I rely primarily on the library, but you can't always plan when books are going to be ready for you to pick up. I don't have that many books here because I rely so much on the library. So I reached for the one book that I have here that I hadn't read that I wanted to read. This is a poetry collection from Koyczan. It is called A Bruise on Light. I became interested with Koyczan when I saw him perform live many, many years ago, and I've been following ever since. I've seen him a couple times on tour, and I've watched him perform on YouTube. I will link some of his spoken word poems down below. He's absolutely amazing, and I do credit him with making me interested in poetry because I don't really read poetry ever. But I will say that I am someone who prefers poetry to be read out loud, and I prefer to hear it in the author's voice because it just feels like it has more gravitas and importance that way. Whereas if I'm reading it to myself, I read to myself the way in my head that I read a book. It doesn't have like the same pauses, you know? And I think poetry is meant to be read out loud, so I do prefer his spoken word, and he has some albums. I do prefer those to written poetry, but this was still wonderful to read, and if you're someone who is interested in poetry, I would highly recommend him. If you know the To This Day poem, that is him. He did a TED Talk where it absolutely blew up. I used to listen to that poem so much that I have it entirely memorized. It's like a 12-minute poem, and he has another one that's like 22 minutes that I also have memorized. His language is just beautiful. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies for the fact that this was literally filmed on 2 separate days. Sometimes my video clips disappear and I don't know what happened to them. I still have the audio clip that is saved because I record that on my microphone, but there's no video attached. I mean, I could have just had a blank screen for like 6 minutes and attached the audio, but this is not a podcast, so I don't think anyone would like that. Segue. I do have a podcast. It is about movies. I talk about film, and we are currently watching Disney movies. It is a ton of fun, so I will link that down below. We also have a YouTube channel. Okay, enough self-promo, enough plugs. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye!